Imagine catching a tossed baseball. Your brain naturally calculates the arc. Now, try to swat a housefly zooming around. Suddenly, your brain's math doesn't work. For decades, defending against incoming missiles was a lot like catching that baseball. Military systems relied entirely on stable physics and predictable math. Once an object was launched, gravity and momentum meant we knew exactly where it was going. Defense engineers call this a point intercept. Because the curve is so predictable, early computers calculated the exact single location where a target is guaranteed to be, sending an interceptor right to that spot. But modern engineering introduced a massive problem: maneuvering re-entry vehicles, or MARVs. Weapons like Iran Sigil 2 act exactly like that unpredictable housefly. They don't follow a smooth curve. If a target can suddenly change its mind mid-air, dipping and diving in completely random directions, those older mathematical models fail completely. You can't catch something when the path keeps changing. This graphic shows how a dancing missile breaks older logic. The left shows a straight trajectory and single intercept point. The right shows a zigzag trajectory. Lower down, the result: defenders must account for a massive, rapidly expanding dome of possible locations. This puts the defenders at a heavy disadvantage. They can no longer figure out a neat, pre-calculated window of time to launch their counterattack before the threat even arrives. They are forced to react on the fly. To defeat a maneuvering target, the military has to completely throw out static predictive targeting. They need a way to adjust their aim in real time, second by second, as the threat dances around. Of course, the easiest way to deal with a fast-moving fly is to swat it while it's sitting resting on the counter. In defense terms, this is called going left of launch. The goal is to destroy the threat on the ground before it ever becomes a complex math problem in the sky. But finding them on the ground is incredibly difficult. These weapons are strapped to highly mobile trucks known as Transporter Erector Launchers, or TELs. As you can see, they are heavily camouflaged to blend right into their surroundings. Hunting down a single truck moving through a massive landscape requires a massive surveillance effort. Militaries use a huge network of satellites in space, drones hovering low to the ground, and a layer of airplanes constantly listening for electronic signals. This chart diagrams how that information flows together. Raw imagery and signals collected on the left are fed into an artificial intelligence network in the middle. The AI sifts through the noise to find the truck and coordinate a strike before it drives away. In reality, though, this ground hunting strategy has a notably low success rate. These launch trucks only roll out of their hidden bunkers for a few minutes to fire off their weapon, and then immediately speed back into hiding. Because stopping them on the ground is so unreliable, defenders almost always have to fight the battle in the sky. This is the transition to the right of launch phase, where things get incredibly complicated. Right of launch is the critical window when the dancing missile is airborne and actively dodging. At this point, staring at a conventional radar screen just isn't enough to keep up with the threat. To track something moving this fast and this erratically, you need a synchronized superbrain. The military calls this the AI kill web. It starts with sensor fusion. The AI pulls fragmented data from satellites, ground stations, and drones, stitching them into a unified picture. As the target zigzags, it uses that data to run new trajectory predictions, recalculating intercept math thousands of times a second. Finally, the AI superbrain sends those highly precise, constantly updating coordinates down to multi-layered defense batteries, like this Patriot system, commanding them to fire interceptors right into those new zones. In this airborne phase, sheer speed isn't enough to win the day. A defense system's success relies entirely on its ability to continuously calculate and adapt under extreme, unpredictable conditions. Look at the bottom table of this graphic to see the two sides of this fight. The attacker uses rapid, unpredictable evasion to try and slip through the net. Meanwhile, the defender relies entirely on the AI's continuous tracking and instant recalculation to close the gaps. There's a phrase that defines this modern conflict. The AI kill web eliminates time. The dancing missile weaponizes it. By crunching millions of data points instantly, the AI tries to make the missile's sheer speed completely irrelevant. It calculates so quickly that time itself stops being an advantage for the attacker, but the missile uses its erratic maneuvers to fight back. Every time it jerks away, it forces the AI to restart its math from scratch, buying the projectile the crucial split seconds it needs to slip through the defense. Intercepting a threat in the sky is no longer a straightforward geometry equation. It is a relentless, high-speed chess match, driven entirely by artificial intelligence and decided in fractions of a second.